Hey guys, so if you've seen my previous sketchbook tour video, we went through this old sketchbook of mine, but I'm going to be redrawing this post-apocalyptic punk girl that I drew in 2014. So when sketching out the new redraw design, I did change her pose just a tad bit by bringing her arm up, holding the gun, because I felt like I just didn't know how to draw that arm, and plus it's like a signature pose to not have to do the anatomy of arm bending. So I changed that, and I also made her have more muscles. I feel like I took this, the original drawing, and thought of it as like a just idea sketch for this, like a final character design almost. So I took like the aspects of that and then transformed it into like a finalized drawing. So I just felt like she was this strong, independent girl in a post-apocalyptic world, and she needed to be a little more buff and look a little more like she could handle herself on her own. So I took that into consideration when drawing her. I also, the way I had originally drawn the gun in her hand was not good. I didn't draw hands well in the old one, so I definitely focused on that and getting a reference for the actual pistol that she's holding. And then also for the goggles on her head, and I kind of changed what was sitting on her head to be kind of like a loose helmet just hanging up there. But yeah, so I went with those ideas, and I also tried to keep the same, I guess you could say, the costume, her clothing. I tried to keep that the same design, and just made it better. And I had a lot of trouble with her legs and her shoes, which I know feet and shoes in general I'm still not the greatest at. But yeah, I definitely feel like I did better with the hands, better with the overall how hair actually sits on her head, even though it's kind of a crazy puffy hair hairstyle. I definitely think I have a better idea of how hair sits on heads now than I did before. Her helmet, I don't know, I still looked at the old design, and I didn't have it sitting correctly on her head in the first place, so in this drawing it's not really sitting correctly on her head, but I don't know, maybe it's more like a broken helmet that she can only protect that half of her head, and her goggles are just kind of tied onto that piece. So that's kind of what I went with that. And of course her clothing is kind of ripped and torn. When I got to the coloring part of things, most of the markers I'm using are pro markers. I have a few individual Blick markers in there, but my main idea was to keep the colors muted, keep them kind of earthy tones. I do have a few colors that kind of made it stand out a little, which were what I used for her tank top, which is a reddish color, and then her little, I guess, sash you could call it, for her skirt. I did just purple for that, and it just kind of brought a little more color into the piece, but otherwise I kept pretty subtle earthy colors, and I also kind of experimented with not using grays or black for like the darkest areas. I actually used slate, which is a dark purple, and used that for like my shadowed really dark areas, for the hair and for the gun, and I found it really worked out, I think, because it also brought in like kind of the same colors I was already using. I did use slate for the main skirt color, so yeah, I just felt like using that as a shadow color kind of brought the colors together. But otherwise I just kind of kept to the post-apocalyptic theme. I didn't really put makeup on her. I just kind of left a subtle pink on her lips when I get to the skin color. But yeah. So I don't have much else to add, and we're kind of getting close to the end anyway, but I hope you enjoyed this redraw video. Go ahead and check out the sketchbook tour if you haven't seen that yet. We'll put a link in the description and also at the end. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I will see you next time. Bye!